Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. In this episode we take a look at the impressive new spotter from HIKMICRO, the Falcon FQ50. Plus, it wouldn't be Team Foxer without a few foxes, would it? Well, hey guys, and thank you very much for tuning in. Tonight's mission is a solo one, but it's also quite personal and close to home. Last night, the gamekeeper had some poultry go missing. He texted me this morning to let me know and asked if I could stop by and see if I can account for the fox. I'm also quite excited as well because it just so happens to coincide with the time that I've received the new Falcon spotter from HIKMICRO. This is the FQ50. Lots of people have eagerly been anticipating its release. It boasts some impressive stats. I'll put a link in this video's description so you can see a little bit more about it. I'll also do a much more in-depth review in the coming weeks. So without further ado, let's get our fingers crossed and hope we catch the culprit, and I'll catch you in a little while. See you in a bit. En route, I stopped off at this location which looks over one of Rick's fields. No foxes in sight, but I did capture with the Falcon this muntjac as it just popped into the hedge there. I get set up at the back of the keepers. There's my caller. I'm expecting the fox to come out somewhere in this corner just here. We have shot numerous foxes on this field over the years and it's a fairly likely spot. Trouble is I've got the wind in my face, but nevertheless we'll get the caller out, choose my favourite call for this area, which is the rabbit distress call on the Architect GC500, and see what happens. Turns out it would all happen really rather quickly. I spun round and there was said fox behind me in the field, so I momentarily captured it on the Falcon and then switched straight over to the rifle just as it annoyingly went into the grass verge. So I spend the next sort of 30 seconds or so frantically looking around with a Falcon, expecting it to pop out somewhere. It does. So again, I get back onto the rifle and try and get steady for the shot. Luckily, even with a bit of a wind, the Rekon sticks still afford you a nice steady platform at plus 100 yards. Well, there we go. That fox came in, and I'm not going to lie, it caught me off guard a bit because it came behind me. I should have probably known it would do that though, because the wind was behind me. And well, I definitely dropped it. It's along this dike here somewhere, a little over 100 yards. Rock steady off the sticks. What a result. Oh, there he is, look, this side of the dike. No wonder I couldn't see it, because he's actually rolled down a bit from where I shot it. Eventually, luckily, using the thermal spotter, I found it. And there he is, dog fox. That's there is our... He's a good size, let's get him out. Paste it back. Just see here, in fact. Probably evidence where he's brought his kill back to, but he's only a young lad. Yeah, he's only a young lad. Shot in the bib, pretty much square in the chest. He wasn't going anywhere. So yeah, young dog. That's the first one spotted with the HIK Falcon. Nice stuff. So he actually flanked me. I positioned myself. Can't quite see, but I positioned myself in this corner. So the wood goes up here and goes left towards the gamekeeper's house. I stood in the middle. The trouble is, the wind's coming this way. That's why it ran behind me. But never mind. We have our culprit. Indeed, a great result, and certainly first impressions of the Falcon very, very good indeed. There were no further foxes spotted that evening, so I spent some time having a look around, getting to grips with the Falcon spotter itself, and boy, you can certainly see a long way as I watch these hares frolic around in the field here, and then a little later 3 roe deer as I approach home. You can see the trees in the background there. Those are the best part of 500 plus meters away, and clearly I think you could also agree that you'd see anything else alive in that field. It's also a good idea to have a play with the different colour palettes in there to see your target contrast against its surroundings. My personal favourite is and always has been the black hot. The good thing with the Falcon is even when you zoom in here, look, you can see the different temperatures on that roe deer there, and bear in mind that's now over 100 metres away. A few nights later, I'm once again solo, and I was actually out testing this Olight product here, but of course there you can see I always take the rifle out with me. That's something you wouldn't see on a torch review, along with the Falcon spotter, and believe it or not, I thought I could see a fox way off in the distance, so I get set up, get the caller on, and sure enough I'm able to tempt this fox right from the backside of that field into this stubble field here. Again, I'm spotting with the Falcon spotter, but now it starts to wander off to the left. I think it's time to get onto the rifle and get ready for the shot. See if we can coax it in a little bit closer. So I'd actually left the cameras rolling from this torch video, but a couple of interesting points from this clip. We're in a stubble field, so as I just adjust my feet here, we're in a stubble field, so using a little lip squeak such as a mouse call is enough to catch this fox's attention. And then the other interesting thing that it does is it takes the path of least resistance. So it finds the tractor wheelings and decides to come up that because it's nice and quiet. You could also notice there that it's squatted, so I could tell already it was a vixen. This one came into the rabbit distress call on the Architect GC500, tracked it across the dike, sort of lost it momentarily, but tracked it across the dike with the thermal, and then it's time to put the thermal down and just track it then with a rifle. A couple of little lip squeaks and it came in a tree, not very far. I'm assuming little vixen. That's what it looked like. Definitely did a number on her. It is vixen. Yeah. So keeper will be happy with that. But yeah, the Falcon, definitely a handy bit of kit for spotting stuff coming in from a long way off there. So that's 2 down so far to the Falcon. This is also fox number 100 for the year. So I'll tell you what, those sticks don't have to give you some confidence. Absolute rock steady. Let's see if we can get another one. Well, I didn't get another fox, but we are into November now, and I was witnessing this fox walk quite some way away, not paying any attention to the call, and then all of a sudden I realised there's a reason for that. Turns out it's a pair of foxes, so quite clearly now foxes are starting to pair up and frolic around. A couple of nights later, I'm out with a keeper. Just coming onto the farm now, and as you can see, it's a bit misty. I've got my red torch on here, look. See that? But the good thing when you come out with thermal is it will cut through all that, so we ain't got to worry too much. Believe it or not, I'm actually out the top of the Land Rover on this foggy evening, and as you probably just heard there, we used the Vixen in heat, or the mating call, on the Architect GC500, but we are currently situated in exactly the same spot where I just shot that Vixen. We witnessed this fox again come from right the other side of the field, using the thermal, cutting straight through the fog, and even on this cold, damp evening, look, the Stella SQ50 has a cracking sight picture.
Can you think, innit?
Well, look at that, look. So I've just put my...
You'll look my torch, I can't see.
I know. Do you know what I mean? If you were lamping or using night vision, you'd have to pack up, wouldn't you?
Oh, me, yes. You won't be no good at all.
Alright, that's your last warning. I'm recording now. Stop swearing.
Okay.
Oh. God, yeah. Look at that. You can't see a damn thing.
Can't believe that. Look at that.
Couldn't range it because the fog won't let the laser pass, you know. The same field, I shot the Vixen in, just by myself. She was up here, up that wheeling, straight in front of the Land Rover. Came from the same place as well. No. That's what I mean, the thermal cuts right through it, doesn't it?
I see it stop for a tiddle.
Yeah, that's why I know it's a dog fox.
You'd have to pack up if you was lamping.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't come out, would you?
No. Oh, is it longer?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good one, isn't it?
Yep. Nice one.
Straight on the spot. Yeah, it's got a thick old tail on him.
Yeah. Holden.
Yeah.
Well done.
What's it got in his mouth?
Grass.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, he's high as a kite, that one.
Foggy? No problem. Bagging and tagging. I wanted to show you guys that it's not always plain sailing, and it certainly doesn't always go to plan. This fox initially on this fairly windy evening came in like an absolute steam train, but at the point where it froze, thinking something's not quite right, and at the point where I should have taken the shot, I was a little busy fannying around trying to get comfortable, and at that point the fox took a stage exit right, not to be seen again in the thick brush. However, we did keep calling, and by some stroke of luck managed to calling another fox from exactly the same stand. This one though read the rule book. I wasn't going to make the same mistake twice. However, I will just apologise for the wind noise in advance. On the exit of that farm, I'm not sure whether this is the first fox we saw, but it certainly wasn't hanging around. As soon as I started calling, it was on its toes and off again. Once I zoom out, you'll see that it's a little bit too close to the bird cover for comfort, this one.
I'm a long way, Steve.
Oh, well, if I do say so myself, that was another good shot. You were hanging about this fox, he knew the score. We saw it from the other edge of the farm. I told Steve to hop foot it around and pinned it straight through the shoulder. Shot was absolutely bang on. Vixen, little Vixen. In fact, that's a cub. We had a load of cubs here earlier in the year, and I don't know how far it is from, well, you can see that post, the drive is just silhouetted here, so all the partridges have been released. So that's number 3 down, turning out to be a good evening so far. Well, it didn't get any better. 3 was the total tally for that particular evening. I did, however, use the FQ50 to observe these pretty roe deer just through the trees here. A couple of nights later, I'm out with Rick and his son, and we spot a fox coming in from probably the furthest point that we've confirmed a fox coming in to date. The rangefinder would only ping the nearest trees, and they were 460 yards away, but this is way past that, coming in from that hedge over there that you can see me looking at it with my Stella SQ50. I reckon we confirmed that this was a fox coming in from the best part of 550 metres away. So that's how impressive this kit is. So you've got Rick's son filming here through the Falcon as I handed it to him to keep an eye on the action as I'm looking through the scope, and then Rick's also recording here through the Griffin spotter, so you can see the difference between the Griffin GQ35L, the Falcon, and then you'll also see the footage recorded on the Stella scope. Fourth standard looky tonight. Fourth. Yeah. And how far did we see that one coming in from? Yeah. And you could tell it was a fox even at a long distance with the thermal there, because, well, nature's helping hand, it dispersed the animals around it. They all ran. And I bet this is a vixen. And I've seen this fox a couple of times as I've been round. That'll be a headshot then. The old Popeye. Oh, flipping Nora. Yep. I wouldn't have known much about that. Nice tail. Little beauty. It is, isn't it? It would have been a half decent one to taxi there. Me had it not had its face smashed in, but there you go. Number 105 for the year. Good drills. Join me next week for part 2 of the foxing mission, where I go solo once again on a private job and deal with a couple of chicken killers. Plus, we'll be taking an in-depth look at the Falcon spotter, and I'll share my top tips for zeroing a thermal rifle scope.